Hello. Welcome back to Mik'd. Today is Monday, January 5th. Happy New Year, everybody. Hope everybody had a wonderful holiday weekend, holiday 2 weeks. Welcome back to the real world today. A lot to talk about. What?
Found that out quickly.
What?
Work.
Oh, found out the real world. Hits you right back in the face. Hey, good 2 weeks. Welcome back. You got a lot of shit you got to catch up on. And usually the first day back, shit hits the fan. That happens. But you know what? We're here. We're happy. We got a lot to talk about. Transfer portal is very much wide open right now. You got 8,000 student athletes in the portal right now. There's not 8,000 spots available to be filled. Pretty wild times in college football. A lot of conversation around the transfer portal. We're going to get to all that. Obviously, LSU has had a few commits. A couple running backs, a couple wide receivers, and a tight end. There's obviously a lot more on the horizon. Still no quarterbacks on the current roster at LSU right now. I expect that to change here very shortly. We're going to talk about that. Obviously, college football playoffs are in the semifinals. Ole Miss moves on, beats Georgia, which I think is a shock to a lot of people. I was at the game. What a wild atmosphere that was. I know a lot of people don't want to hear about the Ole Miss conversation right now, but good on Ole Miss for winning. Good on Pete Golding and the squad there for moving on to the semifinals, playing Miami in the Fiesta Bowl this weekend. We're going to talk a little bit about the playoffs, a little bit about the NFL playoffs. We're joined by producer Lloyd.
Hey.
Welcome back, Lloyd. I'm glad you're here. He's fought off the flu. He battled it, and he's here.
That's right.
He's
Can't
got
keep a good man down.
He doesn't sound bad. He sounds good. Appreciate him fighting through that and being here. We're also joined by our two-time national champion, once in football, once in baseball, first-round draft pick for the Chicago White Sox, host of our show, media pundit for SC Network, soon-to-be father, Jared Mitchell. Welcome back, Jay Mitch. Hope you had a great weekend.
Great weekend. Happy New Year, boys. We're here. How long can you go with the Happy New Year call? Like, how long can you do that?
I think it's
because I gave that to someone in the store, I think yesterday. I think I went into Trader Joe's and I kind of got the Happy New Year. Well, I'm like, it's not that long.
Listen, it's the first week after New. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, you didn't see a lot of people after. So I think this, like, the first couple days of this week is acceptable. After that, like, January 15th, you're not going, hey, Happy New Year. You know what I mean? Like, hey, we've been here for 2 weeks. People probably hate 2026 at that point. You know what I mean? So I think it's a couple days after is good. So I think we're in that.
It officially marks right now. Like, we're obviously not at that time, but 2026 officially marks 20 years I've been out of high school. I'm old as shit, bro.
I'm 18 years. God. 18. I got two more before I get to the 20-year. You got the 20-year reunion coming up.
Like, when did that happen? When did them 20 years? I don't feel like I've been present for them 20. There's no way that number's real, but apparently it is.
It's all right. Hey, you look like
great.
You look like you're 25. That's all that matters. Yeah,
appreciate it.
That's all that matters. We're also joined by our friend of the show, our guest on Mondays, On3 pundit, covering LSU, all things of college football, all things LSU.
The source.
Bryce, the source for us. All the questions that we have are going to be answered by this guy, Bryce Koon. Bryce, welcome back to the show. Happy New Year. Hope you had a great, beautiful holiday weekend. And obviously there was a lot of chaos with the portal and obviously the college football news. And, you know, the Ole Miss LSU narrative does not go away. You have, Ole Miss obviously continuing to still play. The drama with the coaches or not coaching, who's doing what. And then you have the transfer portal where, everybody was expecting or is expecting Lane Kiffin to have this huge splash. And, they always point to the quarterback position. Obviously, Sorsby ends up committing to Texas Tech. Everybody's like, wow, why don't we get him? I don't think that was ever a realistic conversation. I think he was always going to go there. And then, obviously, Trinidad got the waiver. It seems reportedly got the waiver and is going to stay at Ole Miss. But there's a lot more. There's a lot more out there. Obviously, Sam Levitt on a visit right now, currently at LSU. So you're here to answer all of our questions. What has the portal been over the last four days for you and for LSU, and what are you hearing as of now?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is Friday when it opened, Lane Kiffin had teased January 2nd so much that a lot of fans, and I know our subscribers over at the Bengal Tiger, were a little bit underwhelmed with the lack of moves. But it's kind of part of it, right? I mean, you've got to measure out what kids really want to visit, what kids really, that's a must for them to get on campus and see what's going on. Because you have some kids that are just like, hey, essentially the vets, right? LSU had a couple of guys 2 years ago, I think. Defensive lineman Gio Paez was one of those guys. Like, he's like, I don't need to come there. Like, I'm good. Like, I want to play there. We're good to go. So it's one of those things where you have to vet that. And look, the big spenders are going to, swing the big bat, I think, early. That's what Texas Tech has done. I mean, they're getting everybody on campus. We saw, I don't know if you guys saw what Times Square billboard that they had for Brennan Sorsby there. So, look, they're spending their money. They're doing what they need to do. And I think I said this last week with you guys. I mean, Kiffin, they're going to spend where they need to, but he's all about value. And it's not because you have to penny pinch. It's because I think he understands what he does, and he knows what kind of player he needs for his scheme. That goes for Charlie Weiss Jr. as well, Joe Cox, the tight ends coach, who's been involved with the commitment they got today as well, and even Kevin Smith, right, the running backs coach. So it's just one of those things where the fireworks haven't popped necessarily, but I will say today it's 3 commitments. One popped right here before we went live, right? So it's one of those things where it's not the big, sexy name, but I think it's a name that come fall time, you're going to say, man, that was a really, really good eval by Kiffin and his staff.
Yeah, look, I think if you look back at what he's done historically in the past in the portal, right? Everybody looked at, you got Trinidad Chambliss last year. This guy's a Division II quarterback. He's got him as a depth piece, and now obviously he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country, and he has his team in the semifinals. And thank God they got him because Austin Simmons got hurt, and obviously Trinidad came in and took advantage of the opportunity. So, to your point, I think he does a really good job of evaluating the guys who he has that are in the portal, but also evaluates the talent and how it's going to mesh with his systems and the guys that he currently has on the team. Now, obviously, there's a lot of holes to fill. There's a lot of guys from LSU's team that are currently in the portal that put their name in the portal. There's 8,000 portal guys out there around the country. A lot of these guys put their name in the portal to kind of see what their value is. Some of those guys may end up going back to their current school. A lot of those guys are going to go elsewhere. Do you see any of the guys that have put their name in the portal for LSU end up coming back? And if not, is it possible to go in the portal and get 7 offensive linemen?
I mean, it's possible. I don't know how effective it is in terms of once you get to 4 and you can't promise a guy a starting spot.
Right.
Is he willing to go look somewhere else and say, well, I can be guaranteed to start here, and the money's not that different. So either you're going to have to severely overpay for that 6th and 7th guy, or you're going to be able to get a solid 3 or 4 and then, really have to hit on your evals for those final couple ones. But in terms of guys coming back, I'm trying to go through rack my brain here. I saw Ori Williams was getting some interest from Tennessee. Tyree Adams was going to visit Kentucky. And as you guys know, it goes so fast that I haven't been able to catch up on what those guys' decisions were to go. I mean, I still feel like Tyree Adams is an option. Carius Curran is not. Excuse me. I don't know if you guys saw where he complained about the alleged, and I'm not going to put it on the compliance for LSU. I don't know. I don't know enough about it, about how they're withholding his paperwork. I don't know what that was about. He's not coming back. There's been a bridge burnt there for sure. So could they get one back? Yeah, of course they could. It'll be interesting. DJ Chester seems like he's gone. Paul Mabinga, I don't think he's coming back either. So I would still say maybe the same answer from last week.
Yeah.
Tyree Adams seems like the more likely option. And then elsewhere, I just kind of think that you're in this situation of where, especially in that wide receiver room, right, you have to not only get 3 or 4 starting caliber guys, you got to go get depth to kind of bridge the gap between the freshmen that you just signed in this 2026 class and then obviously the guys you're going to bring in. Because a guy like Teron Francis that kind of felt like that middle piece, he enters the portal last night. Kyle Parker was visiting, Ole Miss. That was a guy that I really kind of wanted them to keep around and thought had an opportunity to really do some things in a Lane Kiffin, Charlie Weiss Jr. offense. So it's just one of those things where you kind of sit and they're going to see what their value is. I kind of think once we get to today's the 5th, right? That's the right number. Today's January 5th.
Yep.
once we get to Thursday and that initial pop of the portal is done or kind of gone away, I think that's when you're going to kind of start to see, okay, what are some of the value? What are these visits starting to slow down a little bit, and teams are starting to kind of weigh different options of what they potentially got?
Jared, you got one?
Yeah, so I mean, look, I know it's early on, but we know how this thing goes. The portal is not open forever. It's it's kind of a time warp. It happens quickly, happens fast. As far as for the arrivals and or the departures, has there been any surprises inside the program of what's happened in those situations?
In terms of like overwhelmingly surprised that guys have left, I would say that Teron Francis surprised some people just because I think that there was a belief that he could just come in and maybe play a pivotal role. Maybe he's not in that starting three when you come out with your three receivers against Clemson in week 1, but he's going to be a factor. So I'd say Francis. Kyle Parker, still a little bit to that because I thought that he's just flashed so much. And once again, that just comes down to, Billy Glasscock and Lane Kiffin. They have a different number valuation than Kyle Parker and his representation thinks that he should get. Maybe that's where it comes down to. Is Caden Durham surprising? I don't know. I mean, we kind of saw some of the rumors out there that it might happen. I don't know if there's anything that's surprising. One thing I will monitor, though, is obviously Michael Van Buren, because you not only have to get that starting quarterback position, you got to have the backup. And Van Buren had just continuously said over and over again publicly in post-game pressers and the pre-bowl pressers and everything, ever since he assumed that starting job heading into the Arkansas game back in November, he wants to be at LSU. Obviously, a conversation had about, hey, we're going to go after somebody and it might be in your best interest to float your name out there and see what you could maybe get on the market. I don't think that necessarily means that he's totally gone, but he'd have to be willing to redshirt. And, for a guy to go into year 3 of college and say, I'm not going to play and I'm fine with that, I don't blame Van Buren if he leaves. So that'd be the only surprising thing. Obviously, a conversation eventually had to happen about what Lane Kiffin and his staff thought about him, and they kind of went from there.
And when you look at the way this portal is shaken out, especially early on, it felt like there was going to be maybe some fireworks for LSU as soon as this thing opened. And the amount of pressure and expectation that Lane Kiffin has put on himself and the staff with LSU and tweeting out the portal date, constantly and doing all of these things to build up the hype around it, would you say that has probably led to a little bit of head-scratching around LSU and at least the LSU fan base?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the head-scratching around the fan base has been – this guy hyped up January the 2nd, and we didn't see anything happen. And then the first, guy off the board that we're seeing is a receiver from Hawaii that the average college football fan might not know a lot about. You go look at his production, 12 touchdowns, you don't luck into that at whatever level you're at. He can play. Is he going to be a number 1 option in the SEC? I don't know. They just got the kid from Old Dominion, right before we went live. They got the former running back out of Utah. There's going to be a lot of moves made here that I think it's important for fans to understand, because this isn't the college football video game, right? This isn't something where you just go in, you throw all your points at the top guys on each positional chart and say, we want these guys right here, let's bring them in. They're going to find value because they know that they have to spend over the top at certain positions, right? Correct. They're going to have to spend at quarterback and be one of the highest spenders in this offseason, not just with a starter. I mean, look, Sorsby got $5 million reportedly. Let's just say that Sam Levitt gets 4.5, just for kicks and giggles here. Like, let's say that happens. He gets 4.5. Well, now you got to go get a backup. You're probably going to have to overpay for a decent backup, so that's at least 1.5, 2. I mean, you can end up spending $6-7 million just on your quarterback room, and then you got to go get some impact players elsewhere. There's just too many holes, and I don't know, Lloyd, and I'm not trying to insult the fan base. I don't know if fans were necessarily real with themselves, and some were, so I want to give credit to that, about how many deficiencies this roster really did have. We talked about it last week after that bowl game. You had to go build depth. So they're not just building a starting 22, 11 on each side. They've got to build up guys that can allow your freshman class that you just brought in, allow them to grow. Now, some of those guys are going to be called on. And I think, Jared and I talked about this last week. Like, you're going to need some of those guys to step up to help you save some of the cost in the portal. But for the most part, you've got to have that built in to give yourself that buffer zone when you get to the regular season. Injuries happen, and now you don't have 6. We're not sitting at the end of the year press conference and Kiffin's excuse is, well, we had 6 defensive guys starting out there and they were all either freshmen or redshirt freshmen. You don't want that to be the excuse of why you're not in the playoff.
Well, and you see I guess, some of the portal departures from LSU, does that change the number that what we say from 15 to 20 to 20 to 25? Now it feels almost upwards of 25 people that you get in the portal. Has that number shifted for you as well, where the additions you're looking to make at LSU throughout the portal to be able to add to this roster, not only through depth but now also starters? Because I think some of the wide receivers have surprised people.
Yeah, they have. And we said 25 last week, right? That was the number we all settled on. It wouldn't surprise me to see it push to 30 just because you don't have a quarterback room. You do not have a wide receiver room. You probably need 2 more running backs. Like, you just don't have – and we didn't talk about offensive line. Like, you need 7, 8 guys. I mean, you just don't – you don't have the bodies. So it's a much different approach than last year where you could really shop for that high-level starter. You've got to do that plus build. So, yeah, it'll probably push it closer to 30. And then I haven't looked a ton into this just because of the portal stuff in general, but it's probably something I should look more into. This roster number that's going to jump to 105, does it cause people does that go into effect this year? Is that going into effect?
Yeah.
Is that right?
It wouldn't affect other schools. I think the SEC just voted on it this year to go up to 105.
So in 2026, so are there guys now that LSU is fringe on that say, yeah, we'll take you and see how you battle it out in camp now that could push that number to 35?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there could be 5, defensive linemen and they've got 3 graded really equally, and now they're sitting there saying, well, dang, let's just take all 3, see who battles it out, and you play like an NFL, fall camp. Whoever doesn't gets cut kind of thing. It'd be interesting to see kind of how that works. But I think you could see this number push to 30.
Jared's got another one for you, Bryce.
So I got a 2-pronged question. They're not necessarily together.
Hey!
That's a whole lot. I don't really know what that is. All right. He's all over me. Listen, so I got a 2-pronged question. They're not necessarily connected either. One, as it stands today, who do you think will be the first splash name that LSU actually lands? That's one. And then the second part of it is, in your opinion, when you're having to go into the portal and almost kind of build depth through the portal, do you find that that's possibly pretty hard to do, to be able to find depth, quality depth in the portal that's willing to possibly sit? Because it's hard to go in the portal and say, hey, I know we just got 2 or 3 more, 1 or 2 more, but we need 1 more. Are you willing to come along as well?
Yeah, I think so. So the first question, I would say Sam Leavitt. That to me is going to be the big one. Quarterback is obviously the most marketable, guy out there on the field at times.
Hey, there's bad reports about Leavitt out there, right? About how and why he left the team at Arizona State.
Yeah, I've seen was it pickup basketball he was playing and something
apparently,
like that?
He got basically benched or something like that, and that's kind of he got basically kicked off the team. Is what people are saying. I don't know how true it is. That's what's out there. That he kind of got kicked off the team as opposed to he was hurt and not out anymore.
I mean, I know there's no way he's watching this show, but it did allow for my guy Jeff Sims to shine out there in Tempe. Yeah, he's a good dude. In all seriousness, no, it is kind of weird. And then obviously the injury concerns too, right? Like, is he injury prone? What are you getting there? I would say Sam Leavitt's probably the biggest name. Now, look, if Chaz Coleman, decides he wants to commit, that might be even bigger because, and I've seen this from a lot of the LSU fans, they're willing to maybe they don't want to say this out loud, concede some things at the quarterback because they trust Kiffin. I don't think anybody's willing to concede anything up front on the defensive side of the football because you need a pass rusher.
Yeah.
Chaz Coleman wants to be here. He's going to be one of the biggest names that you've got, right? He's still the number 1 edge per on 3 in the transfer portal. Visited this weekend. I talked with some people who said, hey, it went really well. Like, we made good headway and feel good about where things are. That was Saturday evening. We'll kind of see what happens going forward. So I think those 2 probably, because I don't think they're going to shop for the marquee corner, right? I don't know if they're going to go get that. And so you think of more of those marketable positions, don't necessarily know. Now, look, Lance Hurd just entered the portal. Does he want to come back home?
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to watch there as well. And then I guess the second part of your question, Jared, was it's got to be difficult to pitch a kid, we want you to come here. We're not guaranteeing that you're going to play.
Right.
We want to develop you. Now, Michael Van Buren agreed to that last year, and I thought that at the time was a pretty unique case, and I think it put LSU. We talked about this in our Bengal Tiger show the night. They were in the perfect spot heading into the season.
Yeah.
You had your bona fide, top 10 pick guy in Garrett Nussmeier at the time, And then you had the guy you thought could succeed him and had played 8 SEC games, looked good against one of the best teams in the country that year in Georgia, was going to come in and was willing to sit and play for you next year. It was a perfect recipe. You just had a nightmare situation happen. So can you do it again? I don't know, but I go back to that offensive line. That's what concerns me, because that 5th or 6th offensive lineman, what if he says, well, I'm getting starter money and a guaranteed spot at a comparable place? Like, not even I got to go down to UAB or ULL to go start. I can go start at Tennessee or Mississippi State or Florida, and I can go do that. Why would I have to put myself in a tougher situation here? So I think finding that quality depth is hard, and it's hard to retain that too. I mean, that's why you don't see what Alabama did for 15 years. That's why you didn't see what Georgia did in the late 2010s and early 2020s. You can't have a 5-star roster, in your 2 deep. You just can't do that. So you're not going to get that in the portal. Maybe Kiffin's, his leg up is the fact that, hey, we'll use you and we'll utilize you. We're willing to do that, because he did do that at Ole Miss at specific positions. Running back is one of those.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with it, but yeah, I think it's incredibly difficult to get guys to sign up for something when maybe somewhere else offers a clear path to playing time.
And look,
I would agree with you on that too, and I just kind of want to add to that a little bit, because I do think it's kind of funny. I think people don't understand, like, this is the landscape that college football is today. In reality, truthfully, as a player, is LSU the same as Mississippi State? Hell no. But in reality, if you're going to say you're giving me money that I've either never seen, never touched, or maybe I've never been offered before, whatever that number is, and it could be a good bit less than maybe an LSU is offering, and you're going to tell me I get to go play in the same conference on the same amount probably as TV games against some of these same schools, and I get to run through these same stadiums, and you're only giving me this money because you're basically guaranteeing me an opportunity to play? There's a lot of people that's going to take that opportunity, whereas before, a lot of these guys were sitting there saying, nah, I think my best shot is to just go to Georgia and just get developed. So go to LSU and get developed. So go to Bama and get developed. I'm not going to get all those same things at Kentucky. I'm not going to get all those same things at Mississippi State. Now they're realizing they have that opportunity, and they're giving the money, because that right there is the guarantee almost as the opportunity. It's really hard to build those 2-3 deep rosters when those things are out there as well now.
When you're talking about money too, I mean, look at who Kentucky's brought in for visits, right? Like, they're bringing in some top names. Yeah. They're in the same level sweepstakes. Like, these schools that are seen as middling SEC teams or even middling Big Ten and ACC teams, they got money. So they're kind of sitting there telling you, hey, we can offer that same amount. You can go play, and you can still face the same competition. Oh, and by the way, you can be one of our guys. Like, when we put out these marketing campaigns, you don't have to be one of 17. You can be one of the 3 guys that we market across our city and across our brand. And so there's just so much that goes into it. And I don't mean to talk down to fans, but the one thing I've seen just on social media a lot of people don't really realize everything that goes into it and how much it has changed.
Right.
It's not as simple as, and I hate it because I think LSU has been one of the big benefactors of this over the past 15, 20 years. It's not, let me go play in the big bad SEC and play for one of the biggest brands. That's for some kids, that is it. Like, I talked with the tight end commit today. That's what he wanted to do. He got that opportunity. Not every single kid's like that. If there's one thing about NIL and all this stuff, it has spaced out to where these middle tier programs can say, hey, we've got a couple donors. We can play up occasionally with these big brand programs.
Well, and I think what other people have to realize, right? Like, we talk about, like, oh, there hasn't been a splash, the splash that fans or whoever else was expecting. A lot of these big-time guys, like, they are going to take their visits, right? They're going to make sure they're making the best decision. They're going to take, hey, I'm going to go to Texas Tech. I'm going to see what they're offering me. I'm going to go LSU. I'm going to go all these other schools, and I'm going to make the decision based off of what deals I can get and I can negotiate through those other schools. Some of the smaller guys, some of the guys that are coming from smaller schools, when you have to build depth, like, they're going to commit a little bit quicker, right? The kid from Hawaii, the guys that we've gotten, like, he's building the depth. Some of the big-name guys I would not imagine are going to sign right away, right? They're going to go out. And now, some of them may come to campus and say, this is where I want to be. I'm not going to leave. But for the majority of them, I would imagine they're going to go and take their visits and kind of figure out what place they want to go and what place fits them best, what's the best money, whatever that may be. I guess my question to you is, at what point I guess it would be this week, would you look up and say, okay, we haven't had too many splash signees where you'd get nervous?
If Levitt doesn't commit in the next 48 hours.
Okay.
That to me would be the big one.
Okay.
If he doesn't commit, then you have to start to wonder, where do you go at the quarterback position? Because now what's going to happen, and I was talking with someone about this, there's middle tier and lower tier teams. Everyone was waiting on that first domino to fall. And, teams have their big boards. So for LSU, whatever order you want to put it in, they obviously had Levitt and Sorsby up there. Sorsby's off the board. Let's play the hypothetical game and say Levitt goes off the board. I don't think he will. Like, it would surprise me if he didn't go to LSU right now to say that. But if he doesn't, well, now you've got these middle tier teams that are scurrying to go ahead and secure their guys, because if a team like LSU enters back into the race, now it's this just trickle down effect of what's going to happen in the portal. And so I guess to me, if Levitt doesn't commit to LSU in the next 48 hours, then I would be like, okay, that's going to inhibit some of the things you want to do.
Yeah.
It maybe can hurt you from getting the day one playmaking game changer receiver out there. And I like the two guys that they picked up. But as for the big brand guys, like it's gonna hurt that, because they need to know who's throwing them the football.
Correct.
It's gonna hurt some other opportunities elsewhere. So that to me is, if we wake up Thursday morning, I'll put it right there, and Sam Levitt is not an LSU Tiger, that's when I'm like, okay, maybe this thing is cut and dry as we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I'm not sweating anything right now, and I would be surprised if he doesn't end up with LSU. And to play back on what you guys were talking about with Sorsby, I don't mean to go back, but I think it's an important thing to say, is you mentioned, Jared, and Mikey, you did too, about how these kids want to operate when the portal opens. Some kids want to go through your visits. You're totally right. Some kids have had their agents, and I don't blame them, doing back channel deals for weeks.
Correct.
And so I'll just tell you this, like, I fully believe in talking to people that Sorsby knew he was going to Texas Tech.
Agreed.
LSU overwhelmed him with an opportunity and offers, and that's why he took the visit. Like, I think that was, and you go back 2 weeks ago when Nakos and Zenitz and Thamel, whoever you want to look, like, everyone was like, yeah, he's probably going to Texas Tech. He's a Texas kid. It makes a lot of sense of why we want to go do this. Well, then it's reported, oh gosh, LSU's going to get a visit from him. Like, I think LSU was always working from behind, and maybe because they valued Levitt a little bit more, they didn't know what Texas Tech was doing trying to get Levitt on campus. And so, when Sorsby opened the door for LSU, they had to work from behind. These kids, a lot of times, even the high-profile ones, if they're committing early, they've had the deal done for, like,
Correct.
I was talking with someone today who does the deals for an SEC school. And he was like, by the time you get to day 3 or 4 with the biggest names, they've been courted for so long, there's not a big difference between what I can get at LSU, what I can get at Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, Texas, like Oregon. Like, it's fine-tuning things. And so, we'll see how it ends up. I didn't mean to go back on that, but I think that's an important thing to notice. A lot of these things have been happening for so long that it really just comes down to what you feel comfortable.
I know.
I'll add this too.
Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead, Jay.
I'm gonna say I'll add this too. I think people think so. Like we hear recruiting, right? And I think people look at it as the fine-tuned machine that high school recruiting is, because it's been here for so long. Where this thing was when the portal started 5 years ago, even down to how they rank these guys. It is so much on a fast pace of progression of what it is today compared to what it was 5 years ago, and how these guys get ranked, how these guys get scouted, and how they get looked at, and all of that stuff, how it goes into how they're getting ranked now, to where 5 years ago, if you hopped in, I'm sure the top guy wanted to take the first thing. It was probably an overwhelming thing. It's like, I want to make sure I go here and get this thing done. Those guys are taking their time of this small window. They're going to take, a lot of these guys are taking their time. Either they're taking their time or they have the deal done already. Yeah. Like, it's kind of one of those two at this point.
Correct.
Well, and schools have to have different pitches for transfers than they do for high school kids. You can't go through a whole presentation because you might have a 3.5-hour visit, and the kid's got to get on a plane and go somewhere else. It's totally different. Like, I talked with the tight end that committed today, and he told me, he's like, hey, Kiffin's awesome. I talked with Joe Cox. He was great. Went to some camps at Ole Miss when I was in high school. It was, enjoyed it, ready to rock and roll. We didn't really talk much.
Yeah.
That's how this happens. You don't talk a ton. You don't have time to, because it happens so quickly and it happens so fast.
Right. I want to go back to the quarterback because it's such a polarizing position. It's the most important position on the field. Obviously, LSU doesn't have one. We're talking about Sam Levitt. Give me your short list of quarterbacks that obviously, let's say Sam Levitt is the guy. Like, he's the guy. He's the number one guy. Give me the short list of other guys that you potentially could go after to go and fill the room. And worst case scenario, if you don't get Levitt, is there another guy that you like, hey, this guy's there, he's got to be right after him?
I don't think there's another big name right now that they're looking at least publicly, and what we've been told. And I think that's why I said it would concern me if Levitt doesn't commit, because we've seen FCS quarterback out of Elon, Landon Clark, has put down a visit for January the 9th. That is your depth piece, right? I'm going to butcher this kid's name. Haas Haney, but it's Hajny out of Oklahoma State. Potential interest there. There seemed to be some interest between him and some of the LSU, staff with what he could do. This is a guy who's a redshirt freshman. Building that depth. Those are two guys that, we've kind of got, there's some rumored, and then obviously the confirmed visitor in Landon Clark. But when you look at this thing, like, could you circle back to some guys maybe that you didn't have at the top of your board? I mean, Mikey's going to hate this. The longer DJ Lagway sits there, does somebody look at him and say, man, we could tinker with this or that? I don't know. I think it's a conversation if you miss out on Levitt. If you get Sam Levitt, it then becomes, and I think I've said this, it becomes what player who has, can I find my Michael Van Buren? That's really what it comes down to. Can I find Van Buren of last year, a guy who's played a little bit, willing to sit, and he could be our quarterback of the future, because odds are Levitt, and he's going to be a one-year guy. We'll see it develops, and he's willing to do that with us to see if he can take over the reins. I don't know. Is it an Austin Simmons?
That's what I was about to ask about him, yeah.
Yeah, Austin Simmons would fit the profile. I have no idea or any inside knowledge of what his relationship is like with Lane. So I don't know what that's like.
Nakos has him trending to Missouri.
That's gross. That's gross. I'm trying to think of a couple other names. You've got Bo Perbula hasn't gone anywhere. That's also gross. I just think this first domino has to fall. And I know maybe that's a cop-out answer. But
no, you're right.
It's really hard to see where they're going to go. Because, like I said, you've got to get that stopgap guy. You've also got to get your true freshman, right? So who's a guy? No, okay, I will throw this name out here. What's the kid from USC that's rumored to want to go in the portal? Houston Longstreet? Former 5-star. He's a dude. If he goes in, maybe that's a guy that LSU says, hey, come in behind Sam Levitt, sit for 1 year, and you're going to be our guy, for the next 2 to 3 years. We'll see how that goes. But Houston Longstreet, there, I'll let the fans run with that one. That's a name that I would check in on if I was LSU.
Lloyd.
Well, if he decides to go in, don't tamper, don't do that. That's mean.
Yeah. It's the legal.
Well, that's what everybody thought LSU was doing. That's why everybody thought, the day it's going to open on the January 2nd, we're going to have an influx of people. It's like, honestly, it probably looks better for LSU not to have a bunch of people, because now you can't say, they've been tampering. See, Lane, he's a scumbag, all this kind of stuff. No, didn't work out that way.
People are idiots.
Well, along with that theory, I believe most were surprised to see the Kewan Lacey come back to Ole Miss, because it did feel like it was wherever Caden Durham ended up, it was going to be, it's because you're bringing Kewan Lacey. If Harlan Berry leaves, he's not, he's staying. And so, it's because you're getting Kewan Lacey. Now that Kewan has re-upped with Ole Miss, do you see that tampering kind of goes away, and where does LSU go for that running back room? Because that felt like it was something that almost was I don't want to say a done deal, the things that were put out on social, whether it be the phone call and you went to go get the running backs coach, and all of these things kind of lined up to get Kewan Lacey. Seems like he's staying at Ole Miss, so now LSU is also still in the, do you give another call back to Caden Durham and say, let's have both of these guys come back, or do you go and explore the portal for another very much high-valued position at LSU, because you only got one right now?
Yeah, you've only got Harlan Berry. You got the kid today from Utah, who is a versatile back. I think he could be really, really good. He was recruited by Kevin Smith at Ole Miss last cycle. When they took Kewan Lacey out of the portal, they were like, hey, we don't have any room. So it's really interesting to kind of see that. So they've got a good relationship. He could be dangerous. You need another proven guy. You can't roll into SEC play with just one proven back. And really, truthfully, no disrespect to him, is Harlan Berry proven over the course of a season? No, we'd like to all think that he is, but he hasn't played a full season due to some just mind-boggling running back rotations. So there's that. I think the biggest thing to your point is, can you go get another high-profile, high-level back? And then can you, and maybe you can't do this because the kid you just brought in would be like, well, you just recruited over me. I really thought they would go get a 1A, 1B, tandem. And then I thought we would see like a Noah Cain type from a couple of years ago. Like that veteran back that's played, maybe he's used in short yard situations. Maybe he's a really good blocker, situational back. And then you go bring in your freshman. Now, maybe this kid is your freshman developmental piece. I talked to him today. He's like, he told me, and look, you got to take for granted everything kids say nowadays. But he's like, hey, NIL wasn't a part of this for me. Like, yeah, it's a part of it, but it's not a big piece. I just want to be developed. And I feel like they do a good job of that and want to be utilized. So that's your freshman piece. Could you add a 1B, tandem to Harlem Berry still, which I think you could. Is that Caden Durham? We'll see. And then can you go get a veteran, 1 year, super senior, like that Noah Cain, Josh Williams back that just – is going to play for 10 years in the league as a special teams guy, just like that kind of thing. I think that's how you fill out this running back room. And it'll be interesting to see is, Alabama just got the kid from NC State, I think, Hollywood Smothers.
Oh,
what a name.
Give me the name.
Yeah. That's an all-world name right there.
That's an all-world name, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how they fill it out. But that's how if I was LSU, that's how I'd fill it. I'd go 1A, 1B tandem with Harlem Berry, veteran back, and then I've already got my young back. That's 4 deep in that room. You can bring in a walk-on, and then you really start recruiting heavily, which they already have for that 2027 cycle. Hey, newsflash, you can offer kids outside the state of Louisiana to play running back.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I just wanted to say that.
I didn't know you could do that.
Bad idea.
You can do that.
Don't
There's
tell
good
Lloyd
players
that.
outside the
Don't
state.
tell the fans
Don't
that.
tell Lloyd.
A bad idea.
Bad idea.
Yeah.
Bad idea.
Jared, you got another one?
Yeah, I got a hard hitting question for you here. Here's one. Here's where my mind is going at this point. If we don't know of, or if there is no knowledge of, or if there actually hasn't happened any ink that's dried or any handshake deal with Ole Miss about the players that are on that roster, if we don't see any big names come from Ole Miss to LSU, does that say anything or foreshadow anything about Lane as a coach and or as a person going forward?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I think it would be dumb or naive of me to say that there aren't some sort of feelings between players and Kiffin about how everything went down. And I think, for me, I understand the way I understand, to all the knowledge I have about it, it makes sense to me of how it happened and why it happened. I think that Kiffin wish it could have happened better. I think Ole Miss wish it could have happened better. I think Pete Golden could care less because I don't think Pete Golden likes anything but himself. But it's one of those. I'm not.
Pete's swung up here. Pete's the big winner in this thing.
Yeah, I'm not a Pete Golden.
You're
fan.
not? Wow.
No.
Why not?
No.
Why not?
No. I
Hey,
can't
Mikey's
say
family, watch your mouth now.
Yeah.
Watch your mouth.
Yeah, I can't.
Okay.
I can't. It's not safe for work.
Off air
I'm just
conversation.
kidding.
Off
I'm
air
just
conversation.
kidding. No, I don't have anything against Pete Golding. I think it's
A lot of look
the
at me.
whole drama is some of the most childish stuff I've ever seen in my life. Like, you can't complain about Kiffin doing what he does and then do the same thing. Like, it's just you can't have both ways. Anyways, but to the point, yeah, I think there is a little bit of, you have to wonder how that affects things and the trust factor. Not that I think he's going to leave LSU in a year or two, but you do have to wonder what that would look like. If nobody comes, I mean, the social media accounts are going to have a field day with it. I don't think it means he's anything as a coach, because to me, you have to separate the person from the coach to an extent. Like, you guys have played under difficult coaches, guys that, hold you to a standard or things like that. And they're not your best friend. You don't like them, but you can respect them as the coach, maybe not as the person. And I would like to think that there's enough grown-ups in the room to be able to say, hey, this is a business. He did what he did for his business purposes, but he's really dang good at what he does. And if I want to get where I want to go, I need to go play for that. I think that should outweigh the drama of he hurt my feelings. Like, once again, not safe for work what I want to say, but I think it should. I think it's really it's one of those things where if you're serious about wanting to better yourself, win now and win later in life, I don't understand why anything at LSU would hold you back from that if you're being real with yourself. If you're caught in the petty drama, then of course, yeah, like stay at Ole Miss and enjoy consistent 7 to 9 win seasons for the next decade.
Oh, love that.
Yeah.
Lloyd, you had another one?
I'm not a fan of Ole Miss anymore. It's gotten.
Do you think?
Mikie was in the boxes. He was in.
Mikie was shaking hands with the coach.
Yeah, he was. Mikie was
singing.
Mikie went to bed. He went to bed with confetti in his drawers on Saturday night. That's
I don't want to know how you know that. That's crazy.
He told us.
Time out. First of all,
pictures or it didn't happen. That's all I know.
Always.
No, that's where I shut him down. And I said I want nothing to do with that.
Always LSU fan through and through, diehard. Never going to change the way who I cheer for. Ever.
Former Alabama commit.
Ever. Nope, never commit to Alabama. Go ahead, Lloyd. You got a question?
Yes, I do. If a hypothetical, but not really a hypothetical, if Ole Miss doesn't go on this run that they're on right now, do you think that there were players that would have followed Lane Kiffin to Ole Miss, to LSU almost immediately if they go one and done, 1-1?
If they lost that first game to Tulane,
yes.
Let's just play that game. Yes, they'd already be there.
I think they're sipping the sauce.
Yeah, it's fun to talk the talk. That's my whole thing. It's fun to but if you're not being real with yourself, if you didn't think, hey, I might have a better opportunity, or hey, this guy helped me get to where I was. He helped develop that. Hey, I'm an offensive player. The entire staff is over there. Maybe I should go because that's what helped launch my career. I'm not saying they owe him anything, but yeah, man, if they'd lost to Georgia, you would have had at least one guy already be there. In my opinion.
Well, hold on, and that's why. So that's why I brought up the question, because my thought process is, as Trinidad Chambliss, as Kewan Lacey, these guys are coming out saying they're re-upping with Ole Miss. Now, I'm not saying there's anything bad, but everything y'all just said was your offensive coaches that are coaching you in these playoff games that you're still having success with, they're gone. As soon as you lose or either hold the trophy. So everything that's been about your success that you've never had on this level before has left the building, yet you're re-upping with the building. So to me, that's why I'm asking the question, because I'm not, at this point, if you're coming out and saying that you're staying at Ole Miss, knowing that these guys are going, I'm wondering now, and that's just a wonder. Like I said, I'm not saying any definitive to it. I'm just saying, will there start to be a question going forward that we won't know the answer to right now? We just won't. But will there start to be a question going forward saying, hey, maybe we should have looked at that time when none of those guys followed him to LSU as something that says, I don't know. That's all I'm asking.
Maybe. And like you said, we're not going to know the answer this fall.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. Now, to the specific two players you mentioned, Ole Miss fans would call this cope. I kind of think this was an act of Chambliss doesn't have any more time to wait, right? If the waiver gets pushed through, but you're still playing, you can't enter the portal until the earliest, Friday? They play Thursday or Friday?
Thursday.
So you couldn't enter until Friday. What'd I just tell you? LSU's hosting Sam Levitt. They've already swung and missed on Brennan Sorsby. Are they going to wait till Friday? Are you going to put all your eggs in that basket? Right. I don't know. So also there's the thing too. It's dude, you keep playing well. You might have a draft stock boost.
Right.
Correct. There's that. The Kewan Lacey thing, if it's true that they're giving that joker $3 million, I mean, all power to you, buddy. Take the $3 million. I'm not paying $3 million for a running back.
Yeah.
I'm not. I didn't win my fantasy football league this year, but I sure didn't take a running back in the first 3 rounds.
Especially when you don't know. Especially when you don't know what you're going to have at the quarterback position next year. That's
exactly. So I'm not paying that. So, Jared, your point is very valid. And the best answer is I don't know probably right now. But for those two guys, I think that's maybe the one-off situation where did Chambliss have time to wait, or did he just re-up right now? He's familiar, play one more year. Heck, somebody get in his ear in a week and say, maybe you should just go to the draft. Maybe you should. And
also, too, and I'll put it this way, I'm literally just saying the high-profile guys, but there's obviously other guys on that offense and on that roster as well that may have been thinking about re-upping there, whatever the case may be. I'll say this on the LSU side in terms of Lane Kiffin when it comes to just Trinidad Chambliss. If you don't even know, if there's multiple hurdles, one hurdle being I don't even know if he's going to be eligible next year. The second hurdle being if he is eligible next year, does he continue to raise his draft stock to where he's going? The third hurdle is does he go back to Ole Miss? If you got those 3 in it and you're Lane Kiffin, I wonder just in his case, is he even really going after Trinidad right now? Just straight up. Just being straight honest with it. Like, is there a real push in his mind to say, Trinidad's real for me to get him here? Is there that?
I mean, we've seen all the social media posts of him talking about Trinidad. Shoot, the Joker might just be trolling to see if he can boost his draft stock so that Ole Miss can't have.
Maybe so.
No, but all seriously, I think it's a great point because there's too many hurdles, and you could just be left holding
your dick in your hand,
$10 million, and nobody to give it to.
Right.
Yeah.
Mikey, you have to live out his nightmare of watching DJ Lagway not show up for practice on time. You know what I mean?
I can't do that.
It just be one of those things.
Don't put that on.
Next time DJ Lagway, I guarantee you, him and Mikey are going to be doing Halloween right next to each other next year.
I don't
They're
want
going to
that.
be living right next to each other.
Yeah, look, there's a house across the street from me for sale. I'm sure they'll put that in his package too.
Mikey, just go wake him up.
Yeah, I'll go make sure. I'll carpool him to campus. Make sure he's on time. Bryce, I know you got to go. We can talk to you about this all night. But before I let you go, college football playoff, obviously semifinals start on Thursday. Two interesting matchups, obviously Ole Miss and Miami, and then Indiana and Oregon rematch between Indiana and Oregon. Give me your final college football playoff championship game.
Indiana, they're just
Yep,
they're just so disciplined,
and they're so old.
They're 30 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, got a bunch of guys that have been out of high school for 20 years like Jared on the team. It's crazy.
Hey,
I'm making you feel old, Jared. This year was my 10th year.
Hey.
So you're a full 10 years old.
You're old as shit, man.
There
Good
you
God.
No, I'm going to go Indiana. Dude, Miami Ole Miss is going to be electric, I think, because, like, both those teams are hot.
Yeah.
And that's the Fiesta Bowl.
Say it with your brain, not your heart. I know what you want to say.
Give me Ole Miss.
Yeah, I knew it.
Ole Miss, Indiana.
It's a real Mensa meeting over there between Mario Cristobal and Pete Golding.
Bunch of meatheads.
Yeah.
So.
Old school ball.
On that note.
Well,
Bryce.
hey, first, last thing. Massive news. I've been on the show for 3 years now, and in the past 3 years, I've had 2 Atlanta Falcons coaches fired. Raheem Morris is gone from the Atlanta Falcons
Look at that.
after beating the Saints.
Look at that.
Let's go.
Look at that. Look at that. Are you happy? You're happy about that, or are you not happy?
Thrilled, man. Thrilled.
Okay.
I couldn't stand the guy. I don't know why we hired a guy with a losing record. It is what it is. Matt Ryan's going to be the front office. Hopefully Cam Jordan's not around to sack him. So
Yep. Cam Jordan, what a year.
Cam is going to be waiting outside the office.
Cam is going to get a house in Flowery Branch.
No
That's
doubt.
what's going to happen.
No doubt.
And the GM's gone. Who paid $160 million for Kirk Cousins, then drafted a quarterback in the top 10 pick.
You can thank the Saints for that too. Actually,
I don't know what to say. James Pierce Jr. is a dog. 10.5 sacks. I'll take that.
Saints gave you a little
Tyler
plant.
Shuck is a dude, though. I will say
Tyler
that.
Shuck is a
that
dude.
guy, He's good. I laughed in the baseball press box when they hilarious. I don't remember who. I think it was the Mississippi State series. All the LSU media's in there, a bunch of Saints fans watching the draft, crashing out at the fact they just drafted Tyler Shuck. I'm in there dying, laughing my head off.
And now look who's laughing now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But now look, and look, they're good. They're only $32 million above the cap. That's way less than they normally are. So they're in great cap position for next year.
Awesome. Chase Young, really good player. Yeah.
Worked out. 10.5 sacks.
So.
Worked out for him in like 12 games. Okay, we'll let you go hang out with your family. We appreciate you for joining the show like you do every Monday.
He's just going to do some Falcon mock drafts.
All right, yeah. No first-round pick. No first-round pick they got. Sorry about that. There's a lot of nervousness from the LSU fans. I don't feel that nervousness yet about the portal and about what's going on. I think everybody heard Sorsby's coming here and like, oh, it's LSU facility. The funny thing is, Sorsby said it was the facilities. That's such bullshit.
Have you seen Texas Tech facilities?
Yeah, I'm sure they're great.
They are.
So are LSU's.
No, apparently they're ridiculous right now.
Yeah, I'm sure they're great. It wasn't the facilities.
Which is that makes it another funny thing, man. Because if somebody's even got the nerve to say something like that publicly, where we all really thought that the facilities arms race was kind of like, it's going to be another 10 years before people start thinking about that again. It's like, damn, do people start looking at Texas A&M and saying, well, would they? I mean, Texas Tech can say, well, what they got in there? Because there is apparently some state-of-the-art new shit that they have that a lot of people don't have right now. Like, do people start looking at that and being like, well, we need to do that too now? Like, it just makes you wonder now.
Yeah, and maybe. But, like, look, Sorsby is, as Bryce said, as we talked about, he was never coming to LSU. LSU got a visit from him. It was just one of those things like, hey, okay, maybe they convinced him enough to show up. The name maybe carried some weight, whatever that may be. He's from Texas. Texas Tech gave him a bunch of money. His girlfriend transferred to Texas. Like, a lot of reasons for him to go to Texas Tech. So I wasn't too worried about that. Obviously, Sam Levitt's on for a visit. I don't know who they go to after that. I'm not pressing the panic button on the portal yet. I think they've done a solid job so far as building some depth pieces. I think the splash, I agree with Bryce. I think once you get the quarterback, if Sam Levitt commits in the next 48 hours, I think once you get him, you're going to see a lot of dominoes fall. I think you're going to start seeing the bigger name guys that are in the portal start to make their decision. And look, a lot of those guys who are on the offensive side, listen, if you go look at LSU's roster right now and all the guys that elected to come back, right, to LSU. This is, what is this?
It's a fly-through of Texas Tech. It looks just like LSU.
I don't know. You making my ass dizzy, though. I can tell you that.
Woo. It looks good. Looks great.
There's no audio in it. I just wanted to see. I just wanted to see what they were working with.
Look, who's maneuvering that thing?
I don't know. Probably drone racing.
Yeah,
they have, probably some drone team.
But look, all these guys.
Blueprint of the building.
If you look at who LSU retained, right? Which the whole announcing, he's returning, I don't love that either. But I know you got to do us this day and age of the portal. But all those guys that came back, if you go look at the guys who announced they're coming back, 90% of those guys are on the defensive side of the football, right? You don't have a ton of those guys on the offensive side of the football. Obviously, you're going to have a lot of young guys, so you're going to see a lot of offensive guys come in the portal. Well, some of those offensive guys who want the ball thrown to them, they want especially the big names, they got to figure out who the hell's throwing them the football. So until you have that, you're not going to see all the big name, I don't think, receivers. Obviously, you got the tight end, but you're not going to see the big name receivers make their decision until they know who's throwing the football.
I think Harlan Berry is the only one on the Trey Desgreen and Harlan Berry.
Right.
Are the only two that announced they're coming back to
Right.
LSU.
Now, obviously, you have some freshmen, I think, that are still on there that, didn't really play that, I guess. I mean, unless the whole offense left.
That's what I'm kind of.
Yeah, maybe so.
Because I'm looking at players that announced staying. Whit Weeks, Charles Ross, Deshaun Spears, Zach Weeks, Michael Turner, Jakeem Jackson, Aiden Anding, P.J. Woodland, DJ Pickett, Don McKinley, Trey Desgreen, there you go, Jace Thomas, Brandon Brown, Buddy Mathis, C.J. Jim Cooley, Tamarcus Cooley, Devon Keys, and Harlan Berry.
Right. One offensive guy. Two offensive guys.
That's crazy. And the rest are defense.
Right, and so they talk about...
I'm more worried about, the offensive side of the ball.
No, that's what I'm saying.
But it's not a worry for me. As far as I don't see big name after big name flying off the board around the country,
correct.
I'm good. That just lets me know there is some jockeying for position and getting what they want. And like you said, maybe hoping that we align this thing up correctly with the other pieces that are along there to go where they want to go. So, as long as that's not happening around the country and LSU's the one that's left out, I don't care.
Correct. And look, LSU's not going to be left out, right? They're going to go out and get some guys. They're going to go out and find the people that need to put in place, and they're going to fill the roster. They've done a really good job. We just told you, the whole offense is gone, right? An offense that was really bad, the whole offense is gone, right? You have a new offensive coordinator, new running backs coach, new tight ends coach, new wide receivers coach. So they're remaking the offense on the fly. You have got to go get some guys, some value-add guys that could potentially be good. Just because he came from Hawaii or just because he's coming from Utah doesn't mean he's not going to be good, right? I'm not saying he's going to be the first-team All-American, but you can go get that guy and you can insert him there as a number 3, and he could be a great number 3. I mean, we got he's now at Miami, the wide receiver, C.J. Daniels from Liberty, right? I know a bunch of people were pissed that he didn't play well here. He's balling at Miami. He's a good wide receiver. He came from a super small school. So if you have the right guys in the right system with the guy throwing the football, then you can excel. And you can't go get all the top guys and say, hey, why don't you all come here and let's have a super team on offense. That doesn't work. We tried that last year. How'd that work out? We got all these top wide receivers in the portal to come to LSU. How'd that work out for us? Not great. So you got to figure out the guys who fit in the right spots for you to be successful.
I'll be honest with you. I have when I watch what's going on so far with Ole Miss this year, like we all know Lane's a play caller, right? So Ole Miss loses the play caller. He goes to LSU as the head coach. He's doing his thing there. Now his quarterback that's basically taken Ole Miss to the best season that they've had in 40-plus years is a no-name, zero-star, Division II guy, Division II national champion, I might add, that's come up and done some incredible things. And if you liked what you saw him do to eliminate Georgia the other night, nobody would have ever guessed in their right mind that he would be in the position to be doing that when the season started this year. Hell, you didn't even know his name. Right?
No.
So it makes me feel good about that. But the second part that makes me also feel good about where LSU is and going forward is Lane called those plays all year. His offensive coordinator is a younger guy who just went back to that same school, and he's been calling these plays in both of these playoff games and has done well. Right? So at some point, you would imagine, as we keep going forward, after you saw what just happened or has happened so far in the playoffs, and he's sitting under Lane, Charlie Weiss's name is going to become a hot commodity. And at some point, I would imagine he may be moving on from LSU as well. You still feel great because of who you have calling plays and who has called plays pretty much his entire career as a head coach. So I feel good about the talent evaluation. I feel good about what you got in place for calling plays and how plays are and how the offense is going to be structured for years to come. Like, I feel good about those two spots. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're getting the top name in the portal. They didn't need that at Ole Miss to go do what they did this year. I feel good about what they're going to put together. I feel good about the platform they have to work, which is a big reason as to why they're no longer at Ole Miss and why they're at LSU, right? And so as those things play out, as this thing kind of unfolds, I think LSU's going to be in a great spot. You just got to see where it's going to be.
I think you do, and as much as people have said, like, trust Lane, like his system, all these things, and then people put this puzzle together of what if Lane Kiffin had the resources of LSU, imagine what he could go get. I don't think he's necessarily looking at star rankings or anything, no matter where he is. He's looking at what fits my system, and that's what you have to trust if you have a D2 Trinidad Chambliss come in. Like, if that happened at LSU, which it very well could now, everybody would have sneezed at that and be like, what are you doing in the portal? And instead it's like, oh, well, I may have just found a top 5 pick. That's what I'm doing in the portal I find a guy that fits what I do versus let's go get the bright, shiny thing that LSU did a year before, where it went to go get.
It worked on the defensive side.
Well, no, obviously, but this is where the system has to marry the player, not just if I plug in a bunch of good players, no matter how bad we are offensively and what we're trying to do, it should still work.
Right. There's a lot of really good players out there.
Yeah, 2,000 of them.
4,000. There's 4,000 guys in the portal. There's a lot of really good players out there that you're going to be able to go get. And you're going to be able to field a team that I promise you the offense is going to be better next year than it was this year. Like, I can guarantee that. That is I'm willing to put my name on that.
Mikie rubber stamp guarantee.
That is just no doubt about it. The offense is going to be better next year than it was this year, right? Now, who's going to be the people that you're getting the rock? That's getting the rock. I don't know that yet, but
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because I know it's going to be better than it can't be worse. And if it is worse, then
we're in a bad
spend a whole bunch of money again for nothing, right?
We're good at that,
right? But you're gonna have your defense is gonna be really good, and your offense is gonna be good. You just got to figure out who the pieces are and put them in place. And I think that, and Jared mentioned it, the big names outside of Sorsby haven't really made a decision yet on where they want to go. I don't have the On3 portal rankings right now. I'm assuming that we don't have the login anymore. He didn't get back to you?
He did. It's through his Twitter now.
So he doesn't want to give you his password?
No, that's fair.
Okay.
I think
he said no?
No, I didn't even ask that part. Because it was a pretty... I have to do it through my Twitter now.
Okay.
I don't ask for Twitter.
I don't know what the rankings are. I don't have a subscription to the sites. But I would imagine if you go down the top of the receiver board, top of the offensive playmaker board, a lot of those guys are still available. And they're trying to make their decision. And so I would hold off on pressing the panic button, and I'd get off of Twitter.
Yeah, that needs to stop.
I would get off. Like this whole, I mean, it is exhausting.
Okay, the top transfer portal players, not just quarterbacks.
Okay.
Sam Levitt is now ranked 1. I guess these are available.
Okay.
No, it's not. It's all of them. I don't know what. I guess they just. I'm confused by this, but it's Sam Levitt, LSU in the running. Cam Coleman, love to see it. Not going to happen. It doesn't feel like.
Where do you think he's going to go? A&M? Wasn't he visiting A&M?
This is a Jared question.
I don't know where he's going. I just know the guy's really
Miami.
good.
He's from Alabama. He's from Alabama.
Yeah.
He's from very close to Auburn, I think.
Yeah. Jacarius Peak, offensive tackle from North Carolina State. No answer. Chaz Coleman, trending towards LSU, took a visit, has not committed to anywhere. It's 95% Ohio State, 2% Tennessee, according to On3. Drew Mestemaker, obviously following his coach. Sorsby, the 6th-ranked player in the portal, going to Texas Tech. When you start going down the list of available.
Mestemaker was rated higher than Sorsby?
Yeah.
Wow.
This is just the transfer portal 1-3. Like, I'm sure that you can find whatever rankings you'd like to shift your narrative. Byron Brown, still in the portal.
Yeah, I don't.
Fun.
Anyway,
Dylan Raiola, still in the portal.
No, absolutely not. I'd rather Lagway over him.
There you go. DJ Lagway, still in the portal. Lance Hurd, still in the portal. Carius Curran, still in the portal.
Yeah, we're not getting him.
Yeah, that was.
But you have two of the top tackles, right? Maybe Hurd comes back, maybe he doesn't. But maybe you got. My point is, out of all those guys, 2 of those guys have made a decision, or just 2, Mestemaker and Sorsby. That's 10 guys you mentioned.
Mestemaker following his coach.
Correct.
So
correct.
That's not even much of a decision. That was kind of known.
Correct.
Yeah, I would follow him too. Made my career.
No doubt. I didn't play one varsity snap in high school football.
And then the interesting one is Deuce Knight also leaving.
Right.
Freshman.
Right. That could be one of the ones he was talking about. Hey, why don't you come to LSU red shirt?
Get right
behind Levitt, and you be the guy who saw what we can do.
And I hate this. What was his name? Hold on.
I don't know.
I just had it. Hold on. Colton Joseph, Old Dominion quarterback.
Where's he going?
Wisconsin.
Okay. What about that kid that was at Florida, then he was Division II?
We don't want that.
I know, but where's he going?
I don't know.
I forget his name. He had a cool name, didn't he?
No, he thought he was cool.
No, he had a cool name. I said he was cool. Didn't he have a
Not Kitna.
No, it was in John Kitna's son in the portal.
No.
I think this guy went to West Florida.
I don't know. But I know.
My point saying
tats.
My point in saying all this is there's a lot of guys still available that are really good that haven't made a decision. Most of the guys that are really good haven't made a decision. So let's not press the panic button. Let's just see what happens. And if you thought that something was going to happen,
Marcus Stokes.
That's it. If you thought something was going to happen exactly on January 2nd, you're a little naive. Nobody committed to anybody on January 2nd.
This is who Mikey wants.
No, I don't want him. I was just saying that was just another. You talked about small schools, Old Dominion. I do not want this kid. I don't want this kid. I thought the skinny armbands went away like in 2007.
I think this kid has not grown up since 2007.
Remember when the skinny armbands?
He's just that jacked.
Yeah, you're right.
Biceps on 99.
Remember when they had the skinny ones and they wore like 8 of them on your leg?
Yeah.
Or on your arm?
And then one play, and then it's like, oh, they're all fucked up.
Yeah.
Take
I do not want that kid, by the way. Just put that out there. Definitely don't want that.
West Florida, born and raised.
Definitely don't want that. Yeah, I think. Look, in 2 or 3 days, we're gonna see a lot of action. Let's pivot to the college football playoff.
College football playoff.
Indiana absolutely curb stomped Alabama. That was embarrassing.
It was.
Alabama. That was an absolute.
It looked like they had switched uniforms from what my brain wanted to do.
Yeah, a bunch of 25-year-olds beat a bunch of 19, 20, 21-year-olds.
And that's what makes me wonder, because their average age of Indiana football, their roster, is 22 and a half years old. You know what? Philadelphia Eagles, their average age is?
What is it?
24.
Yeah.
You're playing an NFL team.
It's the mid-major NCAA March Madness teams that Wichita States who have a bunch of fifth-year seniors on the team making a run. That's what's happening. You're getting all these older guys to come there, and a lot of those guys were JMU guys who went over there,
right?
And then obviously he just replenishes the quarterback position. He landed on a grad transfer obviously transfer portal, but he graduated from Cal in Mendoza. He's got his brother, which I guess Cignetti's not super high on his little brother because he just got the guy Hoover transfer from TCU who put up some outrageous numbers while he was there. So he just committed to go to Indiana. So he's got a nice system that works for him, but he's taking that mid-major college basketball
approach,
old school college basketball approach of getting a bunch of old guys.
I'll also say this too, like when you just think about that game, it's very obvious Cignetti is a very good coach, and he's able to get guys to play well above their skis. Because we could still sit here and just call a spade a spade. Like that roster, for the most part, is filled with a lot of dudes that not a lot of other big schools went to looking for. Right. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that you can't develop at a later pace. I'm not sitting here saying that a certain coach can't develop you. Like I think Cignetti is one of those type of dudes. But it's very obvious that roster, if we just put it on paper, is not the same as a lot of those other rosters that are in the playoffs. So hats off to not only those players, but that coach and that coaching staff for what they're able to do. Now, I'll get to the other side of it, and I do think this offseason will be one of the most pivotal in the near future for the Alabama program. Like, I think what you got a chance to see, and what we kind of knew and saw all year is, they can't run the ball. They can't run the ball, but they were still finding ways to win until you face, like you said, an average of 22-year-old roster who's well coached, who's well disciplined, and who's willing to play for each other. Man, they just went out there and just curb stomped Alabama. They did what they wanted with them. They dominated them in the trenches on both sides of the ball. And if anybody can think about, hey, you remember that time Alabama was good? There was always attached to it a damn good run game. This is the first time where it felt like we were watching, that Washington team play in an Alabama uniform. Where you're like, hey, that style of ball and maybe the things that you did there, that shit really doesn't work in the SEC. And even bigger so now, probably because of NIL, probably because of the portal, it doesn't work in the scheme of very good teams in the nation, playoff caliber ball clubs. If you can't be more than one-dimensional, you gonna get your ass beat at some point. And we found that out about Alabama. So now it's like, are they gonna figure it out? And you gotta remember too, think back, Alabama's offensive coordinator, he got fired in 1 year in Seattle because they couldn't run the ball. Came back to working with this guy, they couldn't run the ball this year. So now it's like, there's tough decisions, there's philosophy decisions, there's a lot of things that need to be rethought about Alabama football going forward, or it may go back and hit that slide that, we saw for so long after the Bear Bryant era.
Correct.
That's what they are at this point.
Correct. And look, that's why their first big splash guy out the portal was Hollywood Smothers. What a great name from NC State. Look, maybe people can still put their name in the portal now, correct? It's not closed to put your name in the portal because people are still announcing that they're getting put in the portal. So I don't, and like I said, I have no information on this other than the fact that this kid put his name in the portal late, I think, and then Alabama just scooped him up. But the quarterback at NC State has not announced. I don't know if he's going to announce that he's going to ever. I don't know if he announced he's returning or what. But guys are still putting their input. That's why Alabama went and got this guy. They didn't have running backs, or they didn't have a running game.
Portal closes January 16th.
Yeah, so
plenty of time.
But look, getting a running back doesn't make your running game better. You have to have the system obviously failed Alabama. Whether they didn't have the guys up front to block it, we've seen that, or the guys, or the scheme, or a combination of both. It's not just you're not gonna get a running back and say, oh, he's gonna fix the entire thing, right? Jam Miller wasn't a bad running back. I know he was banged up a lot, but I think it was a lot to do with scheme and personnel more so than the guy running the rock.
Yep, and that's where Jared's right. Like, if this is, you come from a West Coast system that wasn't really born on running the football. It was more of kind of maneuver your way down the field, take deep shots, which
Right.
you did with Michael Penix, and then you saw that they weren't a lot of
Why'd you say it like that?
what Michael Penix?
Yeah.
Michael Penix?
Yeah.
Michael Penix.
Penix.
You know what he did walking into the tunnel.
Fiexens.
Michael Penix
Yeah.
on the carry. But there was a lot of east-west shit, and that doesn't really play at Alabama. And then you had them shooting jumpers on 4th and goal. Like, I don't think that really plays at Alabama.
Yeah.
And so it might just be the more and more it happens, the more and more Alabamans get malcontent with him.
Was it a rumor that Simpson's gone? That's not true, huh?
Oh, I haven't heard that.
Yeah, I think
He
that was
cried
a
and
rumor.
got benched.
I think that was a fake.
He did cry and get benched.
I think he got hurt.
His pride.
Oh, listen, you ain't. I think he got hurt, but yeah, not a great game
Another cat came in and slung it around
until he didn't.
until it ended.
Until he didn't. Yeah. Okay, so obviously, Indiana a wagon, right? They ran over Alabama. I'm sure Alabama fans are not having a good time right now. They're not used to that.
And Indiana has the #1 transfer portal class as of now.
Yeah, but how many have they gotten?
I don't know.
Yeah,
They have
but
the #1
that's
class.
what they're gonna do. They're not gonna be able to recruit there. They're gonna be able to go get the portal there, right?
Do you think that?
I like them to win the whole thing.
Oh yeah. Do you think that Signetti can harp on the way he practices? Where I'm sure you've seen the interview where it's like hour 30 practice, hour 30. It's walkthrough Monday, hour 30 practice, hour 30 practice.
He's practicing a little bit like the
Walkthrough.
NFL does.
Right, and I think you can only do that if you have that
Veteran guys.
Right. And
Correct.
so if he went to a different program or try to do that elsewhere, I don't know if it works.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think that you could go to a different program and still bring in portal guys, and still have that. I mean, that's the way it works
Right.
for him.
I mean, because Jay Mitch, I'm sure y'all would have loved our 30-minute practices going into the bowl game, going into the national championship. I don't think that's how it went down.
No, that's not how it went down, but that also wasn't Les Miles' way. I do think what he's doing, you can do at the college. At college, here's the thing. I remember this. Look, there was a lot of stuff we practiced that we didn't necessarily take over to the game, right? And to be able to run practices that short means you're probably not practicing the biggest array of things. Well, if you're not practicing the biggest array of things, that means you're probably getting really good at the things that you do. And you do them really, really well. So I do think that there is a way that a college team can do that. Would it help you probably to have more, I guess, experienced guys than not? Yeah, but that's across the board. That's why we see these top teams go into the portal as much as we do. That's why we've seen these Heisman races the last few years be all portal guys, be all older guys for the most part, because that stuff, it matters, right? And that's why we're seeing kind of what we talked about and what people have talked about, what people are kind of missing a little bit, where the high school kid, unless he's an absolute bona fide star, for the most part, some of these kids are getting put into a bad situation because of what the portal and the extra year and all these other abilities to be able to grab older players that college sports have turned into now. Like, it's kind of messing with that high school kid, and they don't get the same opportunities that they had before. It used to be you were filling a recruiting class with 25 high school kids. That's not these big programs. That's not a thing anymore. They're going to go and get that 12 to 15. They're going to go and get that 10 to 12. And then they're looking to top off positions and maybe even have a backup with experience from other places that have played at that level already.
Right.
Like, you're not only seeing that in college football, you're seeing that across college sports at this point. So I think a lot of that stuff kind of goes into it. But yeah, I think you can do stuff like that in college without having just all of an older roster.
Correct. I don't disagree.
Certainly helps.
Yeah, it definitely helps. Obviously,
Yeah, 100%.
having a mix and having some guys. And look, we've talked about this a lot. Having your best player and your leader on your team be that, right, a guy that people respect and want to follow, as in Fernando Mendoza, it makes that a whole hell of a lot easier to do.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if that guy's doing it, other guys are going to follow him, especially some older veteran guys. And then it's the same thing when we talk about professional sports. You have to hit on the draft and have young guys, but the young guys aren't worth shit if they don't have veteran guys to learn from, right? And that's why you see a lot of guys, if you look at Major League Baseball teams, a lot of guys that have this great farm system, and they get to the big leagues and they're really good or have a lot of potential, but they don't win. It's because they don't have a lot of veterans that are with them. Teams that have a good mix, usually win because veterans can kind of teach the young guys how to do things and the way things are supposed to be going, especially if they're good. So I think he's got a nice system over there in Indiana. Obviously, he's been super successful in 2 years. I have them as the favorites to win it. They are playing Oregon. Obviously, Oregon has been good. Dante Moore is really good. It's a rematch, so I think it's going to be a good game. We saw what happened with Ole Miss and Georgia in a rematch. Ole Miss ended up winning the second game after losing the first game. First game, they were up by a lot, gave up the lead, and lost the game. Second game, they were down by, I think, 9 or 10 points, came back, ended up winning that game. So they play Miami. What do we like? Who do we like in that one? Listen, Miami, I mean, I liked Miami. I didn't know much about them outside of, like, hey, two good defenses. Miami impressed me a lot in their last game.
Miami is an absolute heater right now. And from what we've seen, the way they're playing right now, the way that defensive front and that defense is playing right now, and the problems that they give you because they're so disruptive, and their ability to run the ball and their willingness to run the ball. And listen, you can sit here and say whatever the hell you want about it. We talked a lot of shit about him. A lot of people talked a lot of shit about him. His own even old program let him walk out the door. Carson Beck is still in the playoffs right now. Like it, love it, or hate it.
Listen.
Still one at the top, controlling an offense, controlling a team that's still in the playoffs right now. So you put those three things together for me, and I'm like, they present a lot of problems for anyone, particularly a team that's as finesse as Ole Miss is. A team that you remember, go back onto it, like Ole Miss love rushing three, dropping 8 back. They've done that a lot. They've simplified that a lot. I'm not saying that that's exactly how it'll be there, but those guys are used to playing going backwards. They played some of their best ball going backwards. You can't play like that against Miami. Yeah. So I think this is a very tough matchup for Ole Miss, and I wouldn't be surprised if I see Miami go ahead and just run their way into a national championship opportunity.
Carson Beck's 35-5 as a starter in college.
Cool.
35-5, whether you like him or not.
Say what you want about him.
He's a winner. He wins. And so he's got, obviously, Miami in the semifinals. Their defenses are – but those defensive ends at Miami are fucking serious, right? And so, look, Trinidad ran around all around. Trinidad's not just a runner. He's more of a passer than a runner. Obviously, he can run when you need him to run. Can those defensive ends contain him? Can they keep him from getting out and escaping instead of running around for 45 yards? Now, Georgia's got a good defensive front too, but I don't think they got the defensive ends that Miami has. And I think Miami is able to control the clock better than Georgia did because they're able to run the ball a little bit more effectively. At least the last 3 or 4 weeks, Miami has been able to do that. So I think it's going to be interesting. I don't know. It's gonna be a tight game. I think it's gonna be a low scoring game.
I also think too, like as far as for the Miami conversation, I do think when you have someone like Jason Taylor, who is the guy that's teaching your defensive line, I just gotta feel like whatever the ceiling is for that individual or that group of individuals, it gets raised a little bit because I feel like guys are willing to live. If someone like that can regurgitate and teach the things that he was able to learn and do throughout his uber successful career, it feels like those guys have come on stronger a lot later in the season. And if he's able to get those guys to understand these concepts and give these things back to them, it just makes you feel like those are they get through to players a little bit more than even the most accomplished of coaches. Like they just do. Like, because there is a feeling of, I got to impress this guy every day because he did this stuff every day at a super high level. I gotta feel like if I get his stamp of approval, I get anybody's stamp of approval. And like players approach it that way. Even if you got the most respected and most successful coach, like players just approach it that way when another guy has been in those shoes. So I gotta feel like that part of it as well as what they're doing on defense. Maybe those guys are starting to progress at a higher rate at this point. Maybe like they started like this during the season and now it really starts to kick up with someone like that coaching that position group.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's gonna be outside of the first round games, the last round was good except for obviously Indiana, Alabama. But I think these next two are gonna be pretty electric.
I'm interested to see because usually in these matchups, right, you go quarterback first, like you go, who has a better quarterback? I think it's fair to say Chambliss better than Beck, despite the win-loss record, if that's what you want to point to.
More experience on Beck's side, yeah.
But then it's been very evident in these last 4 games. It's one in the trenches. And what Miami has done on their front 4, or the front 7, and their whole fucking defense.
Yeah.
Like, they're able to force pressure and then turn that pressure into turnovers. And they get you the ball back. They play ball control, and they're able to score.
Well, and here's the deal.
When they need to.
You have a running back that has been really good. Right, the offensive line has been able to he's been able to run for a lot of yards. But you also have Malachi Toney,
right?
Who
explosive,
super explosive, right? You give him the ball in the back.
In Miami's history with 1,000+ receiving yards, the only one,
and he's supposed to be a senior in high school,
right?
Which is wild.
I don't think he won freshman of the year.
And so you get him the ball a bunch of different ways, and
that's their offense. Though. Like what they
correct.
are.
You know exactly what they are, and I think they're okay with that.
Yeah, because the defense is so good. It's old school.
I think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be as high scoring as the Georgia game was.
No, and that's what's impressive about.
But that happened in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
where both teams started.
wear it down a little bit.
Yeah, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah. But that's what's the most impressive thing about the Ole Miss is like that Ole Miss game is I think everybody kind of even LSU to an extent had that game kind of circled. Its staff will be back after the Georgia game. Go out and put the bricks on them, and now it's like, wait, well, now y'all have to come back, and I think reportedly, only person staying is Charlie Weiss.
Yeah. How about this? So I'm sitting in the
Ole Miss suites.
My seats. Yeah. And so like the family suite, right?
Oh yeah. What side?
Obviously super packed. Well, the suite next door, friend of our LSU guy, the company he works for is the CFO for had 2 suites. And so the suite that was right next to the family suite was one of their suites, and it wasn't full, right? And so it's his buddy and his 4 kids, and then he was like, hey, let's just sit there. We're right next to my sister and Josh. And I was like, we can just watch the game there. And so we were sitting there watching, and there's this old dude from New Orleans behind us. And I don't notice it because I'm just whatever. And every time Ole Miss does something, he is talking shit to me and my friend next to me, thinking that like we're Ole Miss guys, right? And he's like, "Oh, that's our player. That's gonna be our guy. That's gonna be our guy. That's our coaching staff. All this stuff." And then finally,
but you didn't hear any of this going on.
I didn't hear it because he was like, I didn't. I was just talking, and then I stood up, and he said something. He said something, and I saw him, and I was like, "Hey, dude, I'm an LSU guy," and so is he. He goes, I was wondering why you motherfuckers weren't acknowledging my shit talking to you. I've been talking shit to you all game. He goes, now I know that you want me. And he goes, it's not as much fun as I thought it was. And so, you very much had LSU guys there, obviously, kind of pouring salt into the wound. But it was.
Was it that loud in the stadium, or was it that loud in your cup?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I had to drink myself to enjoy the game. You know what I mean? I was, it was.
I'm gonna do this, but I'm not gonna like it.
I was a little ways away. I was a little ways away from him. It was loud. I would say this: it was loud in the stadium. They did show out. It was not. It was heavy. Almost.
Contingency. Well, it's an easy jaunt.
Yeah.
Get on the trippy train.
Yeah. Correct.
Good for you, man. I'm glad you had a good night.
It is cool.
It was a cool experience. I mean, I'm not
being. I
wasn't rooting for him. I didn't have any Ole Miss stuff on. Nothing.
Did you get rid of the confetti though? Did you finally shake all that out?
I had a couple of my shoes. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Give them away.
Yeah, that was it.
Save these for you, Pete.
That was it. All right. You got a mistake of the day, Lloyd?
I do. Real quick, not breaking news, but it's sub news. Bryce Underwood re-upped.
Yeah, re-upped with Michigan.
Yep, new coach. Let's see if we could
better offensive coach. Oh, he's a defensive guy, but
offensive guru.
But the offenses have been better when they've outside until they lost their 8-year senior to injury for 2 years in a row.
Right.
Cam Rising.
Yep, he's still available.
And he had an extra year, and he said, "I'm done with this." Which I respect that.
Yeah.
You've been in college that long. I respect that.
And clearly, my body's not holding up.
Yeah. I'm not doing this again.
But
I'll be an assistant coach somewhere.
Just a little tidbit. I do have a mistake of the day coming from. Unfortunately, what plays into the mistake of the day here is this was at the Armed Forces Lockheed Martin Bowl. I can see how this could happen. They were very busy prepping for Venezuela, and so this could have slipped between the cracks. But as they had a
I don't think these guys are going to Venezuela.
Maybe double duty. A skydiver coming in to, salute the armed forces,
He
get the
missed his
game
mark.
ready. Oh, worse than that. He comes paratrooping in, and watch
Oh
the
my
net
God.
there, buddy. Got caught up in the kicker's net. Boom!
Oh my God. Oh my God. Is he okay?
I don't know.
He got caught in the net. Oh shit. And he fell in the stands. It wasn't like he fell in the grass.
Oh. One got in.
Wow. Wow. That's crazy.
Look, right here.
This guy's like, oh shit.
Oh.
Oh, I think he's okay.
Yeah, a couple legs.
Oh, did he get up? Did he get up? Did he get up?
He has a helmet on.
I don't think he hit his head. I'm thinking worried about his legs.
Straighten him out. That'll fix it.
Does he get up?
I don't think so.
Ah.
There you go, straightened out. We're good. We're good. Look at those toes.
Damn. That sucks.
Well,
Tough situation there.
must not be a football guy. Mistake of the day.
Mrs. Mark.
Lucky
That was,
Martin.
that was a mistake of the day. Curtain call.
Curtain call. I think this could be a group curtain call
Okay.
because, as you know, Buffalo retired their stadium.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Possibly
Yeah.
retired their stadium.
What do you
and
mean?
they had they could play one more if everything breaks right.
Oh yeah. Last regular season game.
Yeah. But one cameraman found Trey White, who obviously helped the Buffalo Bills kind of get on this ascension, and he is filmed being able to watch the send-off on the field, and it was quite the sight because it is somebody that's kind of taking in all of his entire really professional career as he went to Buffalo,
Played-
left,
Made a mark in Buffalo and,
and then
left,
came back.
Yep.
And so you can see how much he loves Buffalo and the people of Buffalo love him.
That's just such a sad song too.
Yeah. It's a Buffalo thing.
That's pretty awesome. You can't imagine there's a lot of guys on the team that have.
Been there for all of them.
Yeah.
It was him and Reed Ferguson. He was the longest tenured Bill.
I mean, he was part of that team that made the playoffs for the first time,
Yeah.
right? In since 1999, 2017. That's awesome. That's pretty cool, dude. That gives me goosebumps.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and guess he had like at least a few goosebumps, huh? Has to, right?
Yeah,
Just a couple.
There's a
a
picture
couple.
of him that they snuck that was pretty cool. Like they had some close-ups of him and
Was he crying?
yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
How could you not?
he's been in the league for 10 plus years, right?
Yeah.
A damn good career. I don't know the exact amount.
And he got the whole thing, like, started off, like I said, the Buffalo run, played the number one goalie in Buffalo history, if you remember that.
What?
Remember when you played hockey goalie for Buffalo for a day?
I did not know that.
It's a cool scene. That was when he was at the peak of his powers.
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
like, they realized he had a personality.
Yeah.
And, like, put him in hockey pads, but yeah, here, man's weeping.
Yeah.
How could you not?
No. How can you not? Awesome.
But I thought that was cool.
Awesome. One of my favorite Tigers, too.
Absolutely.
I loved him
Came
here.
back. Shouldn't have.
Yeah. Loves
Junior,
him
senior
here.
year, two-time 18.
Loves him here. Jared, do you have one, or you want to use that as a team curtain call?
I like a nice team curtain call.
I do too.
It's pretty much on like the same plane, but I like that one. Let's use that one.
Yeah, I love that. And look, Paul Skeens was there to see the last game.
Good old content right there. I like that one.
Yeah, that was nice. All right, that's all we got for you on this beautiful Monday. Glad to be back in the saddle. Appreciate y'all tuning in and having a nice little Monday night with us. No Monday Night Football, first time all year.
I know, but it sets up Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's going to be elite.
Yep, we got a lot going on this weekend. A lot of football. We'll be back in studio
Wednesday.
Ask
Mikie and Mitch.
Full show. Full week of shows.
Yeah, Friday.
This week we got Friday show too. We didn't have the Friday show last week because Lloyd had the flu, but that's okay.
Still,
listen, I can't get the flu. I don't want to get the flu. Can't get the flu to my pregnant wife. That would not be good.
I was looking out for Jam.
You were looking out for Jam. I
That's
appreciate that. We'll be back live in studio on Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. Ask Mikie and Mitch. Throw your questions on socials. Throw them in the chat during the show. We'll get to all of them. We're getting really close.
40 days away.
To baseball season. Very, very, very close to baseball season. We're about to start putting in a lot more baseball content throughout the course of our shows, which we're excited about. I know y'all are excited about. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Thank y'all for the support. We'll be back live on Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Peace.
But we had confetti earlier.
We had the confetti earlier. That was it.
Peace.